All right, everyone, welcome back to our gaming challenge. We're coming back from kind of a mediocre week, 13 and 14 total, minus 2.44 units. I think there was some success, some failures. We kind of added picks in some places, took away picks in other places. One of the interesting things I have in my notes is we actually won 3 lines that moved from the time we took them on Saturday to into Sunday that we actually would have lost had the line's not moved. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It could have been worse than it was, but we got ahead of some of those line changes. So for our rankings, we're halfway through the season and we do the rankings based off of wins. So Stone is in first place with 47 and 27. That's remarkable, plus 18 units. Jamie's in second place. He's at 36 and 39, minus 5 units. And then I'm down there at the bottom, haven't built up a lot of equity yet. 27 wins, 29 losses. All of those are pretty good percentages. We're a percentage in the positive, but once you start adding 50, 60 bets on the total, you got to win 55 or 60% to keep it up. So I'll pass it over to Stone. He's in the leader right now for his opening remarks.
Yep, terrible week for game picks last week for me, but keeping a game picks or the player picks are keeping me alive. I think this is the first week I've had more game picks than Jamie. We've either been had the same amount or he's had more. So taking that category over, I'm gonna hopefully be the first one with 8 player picks next week. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
That would break the spreadsheet.
I
Go
think
ahead, Jamie.
I jinxed myself. I mean, what was it? 2, 3 weeks ago, I was like, I'm going for 10 picks, and ever since that day, it's been downhill. I've become an anchor. Connor's a little bit rising here, and he's behind, but he's in shooting distance. I need to get back on track. I have reevaluated my strategies. We're coming in with some new stuff today.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love that you're
I have
changing your
that.
strategy early on while you still have time to correct mistakes, unlike some other people on this podcast.
Whoa. Okay. Shots
Wow,
fired.
John.
Whoa. I
Hey,
probably
hey,
have
you're
some
doing
things
good in
here
game
that you.
picks. I can't. I
I think
can't.
I got some things here that you guys aren't going to be expecting me to put on here. So I'm looking forward to the week. Um, I don't really have anything additional to note. So let's pivot right into. Oh goodness, I don't have the spreadsheet set up. So let's duplicate this. We will call this week 11.
Stand
I
by
was
for
so busy
technical.
doing my getting ready for all these stats I'm about to give out when you guys make these picks that I wasn't ready for the spreadsheet, but it won't take long. All right, my bad. All right, first pick for me. This is my favorite thing on the card. I'm going to have 5 picks. Stone's going to pick next. He'll have 3. Jamie will have 2. And so I'm going to take I'm going to fade a team that I think is horrible, and I faded them last week, and I'm just going to pile on right on top of that. I'm going to take Green Bay minus 5.5 versus the Chicago Bears. The Bears are in shambles. They fired their offensive coordinator not on Monday, not right after the game, but on Tuesday. They're not going to have a turn around like that. 5.5 is not that much. I think Green Bay is much better than the Chicago Bears, so I'm going to take minus 5 on that. 5.5.
Yeah, that was gonna be my pick next. Completely agree with you, and I don't know. I have a hard time picking game picks as it is, so now I gotta go back and pick something that I probably don't like as much. But
Yeah.
going into my second favorite pick here, the Dolphins seem like they're turning it around a little bit. Last year we saw them absolutely beat up on the bad teams, and I think they're going to turn around and they're going to beat up on this bad team, the Raiders. So Miami -7 at -112. It helps that they're also at home.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
They had
some
a nice
rumors that they
win.
were gonna there were some rumors that Desmond Ritter was gonna go out there, but then they kind of went back on that. But if Desmond Ritter plays at all in this game, they're just that team's toast. And I think he might be the next coach to go if they continue to lose.
Yeah, there's not really a reason for them to win this game, but so Miami should trounce them. But any given Sunday,
That's
I
true.
think I'd put the Raiders in like the tank category. Like, what do they have? They need a quarterback. They
yeah, they
need
need everything.
yeah.
They need a running back.
No doubt.
In and out
They
of
let one
Zamir
walk.
White.
And
Yeah.
anyway, Jamie, your first pick.
All right, so like I said, changing it up, especially with my game picks. I mean, they have been really bad. So I'm gonna go with the under on a team total. Dallas is under 14 and a half total points, and that's at plus 136.
Oh,
I'm gonna get some value on this. They scored 6 points versus the Eagles last week. I just don't think it's a good football team at all. Even Cooper Rush looked good like 2 years ago. He does not look good this year. And I think that's a large part because of their offensive line. They can't run the ball either. So it's just a bad offense, and I expect, them to keep it low.
yeah. I could not believe how bad it looked. And then to go turn to Trey Lance and to just it be even worse. I mean,
What
talk
do you have?
about a bust of a pick. Yeah.
5 passes, and he threw a pick. I mean, wow.
As a collector, when he got drafted, you would have to pay thousands of dollars for his merchandise, and I bet you could get it for pennies right now. That's how the fall from grace that is. But yeah, they're bad. But that'll take me to my second pick, and I'm going to. I got sniped for this team last week, and thank goodness I did because they got the beat down. But I'm going to take Atlanta money line, and that's going to be plus 114. They're playing on the road at the Denver Broncos. I think that if I just look on paper, the difference between these two teams, I would take Atlanta. You'd think Atlanta would be the favorite. They're not. I think they gave a bounce back win here, and I don't think Denver coming off that block field goal to win the game. That was devastating. You get up for that Chiefs game, that division game, you lose like that. I'm hoping it kind of stings a little bit, and we can get Atlanta money line and get some equity there on that pick.
Yeah, the close loss hangover is definitely real. I mean, we just saw it kind of with the Commanders. I mean, they lost to the Steelers by a point, and the next week they were hanging in with the Eagles on Thursday, and then just proceeded to get blown out. So.
Yeah, you got to kick that field goal, but I won't get into that. I didn't. But all right, Stone, for your second pick.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about the Chiefs either anymore. After, I will bring up. I was trying to break the streak last week, and it did not go well.
Yeah.
But
The black magic is real.
It is some black magic shit. Next pick, I'm gonna go with the team that's coming off the loss to the Dolphins. I think they are still. The Rams are a good team, and I think going against the Patriots at minus 4.5, at minus 110, I think they cover that. I think the Patriots looked good last week because they were playing the Bears, who were just absolutely terrible. I think the Rams need a win. They're still alive for this division, and I think they go in and beat the Patriots at home.
Yeah,
right.
Caleb Williams is trash. I'm just gonna leave that there. For my next pick, I'm gonna go with a total under. I'm gonna go with Indy and the Jets under 43.5 points at minus 110. I think the Jets stink, and for whatever reason, Indy's putting Richardson back in there, and I don't know. Sometimes he's up and down. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't have this one on my board, but those are two teams I don't want to watch anymore that I've been let down by multiple occasions. So I'm going to take what I think is, there's an argument to be made. There's another game on the board that might be more exciting than this, but I'm going to take the Chiefs and Buffalo over 46 at minus 108. I know both, Kansas City's defense has been playing pretty good. And they haven't really been giving up a ton of points. Their offense hasn't been as sharp as you would kind of think of it from the team going for a three-peat. But again, going back to can this game get unhinged over bets? And I just think that there's a chance with the Buffalo's defense and Kansas City's potential that this gets unhinged and we get some scoring at the end of the second quarter, the end of the game, that pushes this one over 46. I think 46 is actually pretty low. The average is right around that. So I think that's more than an average game right there.
Hopefully you can break the streak, unlike me.
I
I
was gonna
didn't even
say,
think of that. I didn't even think. I got to put a little note of
I
that.
had this on my board, and as soon as Stone put it out into the ether that the streak was still alive and well, I was like, bad juju, can't take that pick. So good luck, my
Dang.
friend.
All right, obvious. I didn't even think of that.
All
But I
right.
mean, I have it in my notes, but I didn't think about that being like a Chiefs pick. But yeah, you're right
It
about
is.
that.
It is definitely a Chiefs pick. So we'll see how that goes. This next one, I don't love this. Connor already sniped my pick I wanted, but I think the Bengals at money line at plus 102. I can see them going in and winning this game. This is going against my future pick of the Chargers making the playoffs, but I think the Bengals, they're getting T. Higgins back. Well, hopefully, we'll see. But I think they have a good team. They can put up some points.
It's just a team that starts off historically not so good, and then at the end of the year they're like right in it, and you would think they would have to win this game. We've probably been saying that for weeks, but um, they could still put themselves in a chance to make the playoffs, which is crazy to think. Kind of where from where they were week 1, week 2. All right,
Take it away,
Jamie,
buddy.
skip Jamie. Yep, I guess
Yep.
this I've never had this before. I get to make 2 picks in a row.
What do I do
Um,
here?
And so the first one I think is going to be the other, most exciting game of the week. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I think they're going to go pound on each other for, an hour of game time, and it's not going to have a lot of points scored. I don't think there's going to be a lot of touchdowns in this game. I know that Baltimore seems to always give up a lot of points, but I'm hoping this is a division game, and I'm going to do something that I rarely ever do. I'm going to take an under 48.5 on that total. Oh, I put that on Stone's category. Hang on 1 second. And kind of hope that some things go one way or the other, and at the end of the game, um, that goes under.
Yeah. The Ravens are 9-1 on overs.
Nice.
But I could see this
Great
being
pick.
a weird division game where,
Yeah, the division games always make it lower scoring than you would think, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
there
know they've been giving up points. 48 is above average, though.
Yeah,
And on a division game, I did not write down the
28,
odds
20?
for that,
I can
so
pull it up. I got it up.
I'll grab that.
It is
Minus
DK.
112.
I have it as minus 112. Yeah.
Okay, and the other one, I'm going to take. See, I'm torn between two, and yep, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take Houston's team total, and I'm going to go over. It's at 23.5. That's at minus 135. I'm not taking that. I'm going to add a point to it, so it's not as chalky. And I'm going to do 24.5. 24 is a bad number, right? That's not a number that you got to get 4 touchdowns to get that. The other two I had for Houston was over 2.5 touchdowns at minus 135, over 23.5 minus 135, because those are the same exact, very similar scores. So 24 is at minus 108. So I'll take that and hope that they just pound the Cowboys and put up 40.
Yeah, from just a pure betting perspective, not taking Houston into account at all. Yeah, 24.5 is a horrible number. You should, if you're gonna go over 24, you might as well go to 26.5 and get close to that 27 mark and get some extra value.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I'm not going to switch it now. I did have a backup, which I was going to go head to head with Stone and ride New England Patriots plus 4.5. But instead, I will look back at that 24 and just hate my life on Sunday when it's like hovering
24.
right there. Yeah, when it's at 21, gets to 24, and that's it. But Cowboys have stopped nobody this year, so perhaps something crazy will happen, and their offense is horrible. All right, so that's going to close us out for the game picks, and then that'll pivot us over into the player side. So Stone has taken over this category, as he said in the intro. He'll have 7 picks. Jamie will follow him up with 5 picks, and then I'll follow and kind of close up shop with 2 picks, and then turn it back over to you guys for your weekly segments of blowing me out in the player props. So Stone, whenever you're ready.
All right. This player, when he's playing, the Texans look like a different team. and I think Stroud is going to be throwing him the ball. Nico Collins over 72.5 receiving yards at -115. I think he was the wide receiver one before he got hurt, and I think he's gonna just bounce back. The Texans have kept him out, tried to be safe, so I think he's fully back from that hamstring. I think he's gonna be 100%, and he's gonna crush the Cowboys this week.
And he
We'll
gets a
talk
little
about it.
little
Go
extra
ahead, yeah.
time Monday. It's a Monday game, so he gets a little extra rest to make sure he is 100, if not 110% ready to rock.
Pretty easy defense to get it for, too. Get him out there, get him involved early, let him set the fourth quarter. This should be a blowout. All right, Jamie, you're up next.
So I guess I'll just stay on the same game. I'm gonna do Mixon's over on his carries. I do okay on carries. So 21.5 carries, which is a lot at -120. But he's had 24 in each of the last 4 games. He's had this number in every game he's been healthy except for one game. So I think the very first game he played, they gave him 30. So Dallas's run D we know is soft. They could be giving him a ton of carries here.
I do want to bring up how you won Najee Harris's over on the rushing attempts, but lost the
And
over on
like,
the yards.
yeah.
So he had what, like 16 carries for less than 60 some whatever his line
Yeah,
was,
like
which is
62 yards. Yeah,
that is like prime Najee Harris. And I thought it was
I
fun.
think, yeah.
So I saw this one coming a little bit because Jamie, for stat, is 3-0 on the season on carries bets. So running back carries 3-0. Had that in my notes to make sure we put that down. All right, so I'm going to take my first pick, and I'm just going to ask a question to start us off. How many times do you think Lamar has played the Steelers in his career?
Isn't it like 38 or something?
No, you would think it'd be
30.
a massive number, right?
It's
You'd
like
think
10
they,
or something, right? Or less.
yeah, you'd think that he's been there 7 years. They play him twice a year. Maybe they'd meet up in the playoffs. He's only played them 8 times.
Damn.
Whether that's injury, what have you, and he's set to play. And I think they're going to get pressure on him, and I think he's going to get out of that pressure. I think his over on rushing is going to be over 42.5, and that's at minus 120. So first time I took a running back or quarterback rushing, but I'm going to take Lamar over that number.
He's always good for it. I will say, they did a pretty good job of containing Jaden Daniels. Now, I mean, I will say real quickly, Jaden Daniels is not the runner that Lamar is. Just want to qualify that. But they had a good plan to contain him, so I'm sure they're going to have a plan to contain Lamar, but Lamar is an MVP, so we'll see.
Yeah. I think Daniels was also, his ribs were a little banged up still, so I think they're not trying to run him as much.
Yeah, actually, while we're on that, Daniels is still hurt. I want everybody to know. NFL media, I've been hearing, he's a rookie. He's hitting the rookie wall. The Eagles' defense was good. No, he threw every ball short. He's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
I didn't get to watch the game. I got to watch replay, so I already knew it was going to happen. And you could say what you want about him not throwing to wide receivers, but he put him in position to win the game. They went for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal and kind of resetting the defense and everything, and it didn't work out. Yeah, and then Cobbs wants to say something too, but I'll just pass it back to Stone for his next pick.
All right. I started with a receiver, but I'm gonna go back to a running back, and sign into my Miami game. Devon Achane over 61.5 rushing yards at -120.
Solid.
This reminds me of a pick we made last week that was an absolute stinker. Somebody chose a Mostert touchdown.
Ooh.
And he was. It almost seemed like he was getting phased out of the whole game plan.
He didn't even get a carry.
Yeah.
He did not get a carry.
He got some passes though, like.
Man.
Mr. Touchdown last year, and I thought he might have been a little injured. He's coming back, and then man, that was a brutal pick by myself. Not even a sniff. But again, just playing off Stone's picks. I will also go Achane, but I will do his receiving line, and that is 35.5 at -110. I think Tyreek is injured. And he said it publicly. It's just something he's got to play through, but that doesn't mean he has to play through it well. So I think Achan is basically their de facto number 2 wide receiver. Tyreek's going to be out there as a decoy, really, and his line's at 240, so someone's got to get some yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, I will pick my last player prop pick, and in one sense, you kind of have to be accurate to throw an interception. On the other sense, I think they're going to be launching it a lot because I again think that the Bears are going to get blown out by the Packers. So I'm going to take Caleb Williams over 1.5 interceptions. This is the chalkiest pick of the week, I'm sure. This is at minus 135. But I think towards the end of that game, he's going to get pressured. They're going to have to try to make a play. He is due. I don't think he's thrown one in the last 2 weeks. He's due to throw. And Green Bay has a pretty good defense. They've make turnovers. So I'm taking the interception number.
All right, my next pick, I went with this guy last week and lost, which kind of stings a little bit, but Breece Hall over 67.5 rushing yards at minus 115. The Colts are a bad defense. And if the Jets want to win, they need to change their game plan and give Breece Hall the ball. I don't know why. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest, but Breece Hall is one of their best offensive players. They need to give him the ball, and I think they're gonna realize that and give him the ball, get him some yards against the bad rush defense. I think they're bottom 5 for rush yards allowed.
I think we touched on this a couple weeks ago, maybe more than a couple weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers is running the offense, man. It's whatever he wants to do. Okay? So, if Rodgers wants to pass, Rodgers is going to pass.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that, giving Hall the ball.
I've gone with Breece Hall's line a few times this year. I've won some, I've lost some.
Statmatician, where are we at with that stat?
I've gone with him at least twice.
Well, see, I don't have the Hall specifically. But I do have that Stone on the running back side is sitting at 14 or 15 and 6 with plus 7 units, which is a pretty good percentage to have.
Yeah, you can't handle that.
It's still not as high as Jamie, but he's growing on it.
Yeah, well, I started taking some L's last week, so
let me say this about the Jets.
Go ahead.
They don't sustain drives. It's hard to get your running back involved, or if you have 2 running backs, the rookie Allen that they want to get in there as well, if you are not on the field that much. And it just seemed like, the last 2 times I watched them, the offense was like almost never on the field. Anyway, Jamie, go ahead.
So I kind of like your Caleb Williams pick, and so I'm going to do a little branch off of it. It seems like the picks I have are, it's got some synergy with your guys' picks. We're all thinking around the same areas. I don't know if that's a good or it's a bad thing. But I'm going to take Caleb Williams under on his pass yards total, 193.5 at minus 115. You touched on the Green Bay's defense. They're middle of the pack passing defense, but Caleb Williams is literally the most inaccurate QB this year.
Is Richards below Richardson? Is that possible?
Below Richard? I mean, I don't think Richardson may not have qualified because of the number of attempts. But I mean, if Richardson isn't below him, he's number 2. It's still bad. Like, he's missing wide open receivers. He's hanging into the pocket too long. Like, he's getting sacked a lot too. It's not just him. Their offensive line has not played well. Their offense is not calling good plays. I don't think firing the offensive coordinator helps. I think it's probably, if anything, makes it worse. So, don't like the line. We're going with the under.
I agree. I've watched the Bears the last couple of weeks because I said a coworker of mine is a big Bears fan, and there's nothing great about Caleb Williams right now, and the fade is on.
I guess it's back to me because Connor's done.
Yep,
I'm done. Stone, back to you.
All right. The Ravens have given up the most pass yards by a lot, and I think to win against the Ravens, you need to pass the ball. And I think Russell Wilson has looked really good, and his line is at 229.5 passing yards. So I'm going to take over that at minus 120.
This was my next pick.
Nice.
I have Mr. Unlimited. Yes, Ravens dead last in pass defense. I mean, Russ hit this in the last 2 out of his last 3 games. The only one was against the Commanders, and as we know how that game went. So I mean, he was just chucking the ball up. So I think he has even more of a green light to do it against this Ravens defense. I'm going to have to start researching another pick because some I got taken. I do have my next one. I'm going to go with, stay on the same game, Najee under his 50.5 rushing yard total at minus 115. Talk about the passing. On the other side, the Ravens are the number 1 rushing defense, and the most yards they've given up this year to an RB is 52. So Najee, who hit the under last week, I think he can easily do that again this week.
All right. Sticking with running back unders, I think these are the first running back unders we've taken this year, and I think we're doing 2 of them. But the Kansas City Chiefs are the best run defense in the league, and I think they're going to continue that against James Cook. His line's at 56.5 rushing yards, so I'm going to go at under that at minus 115. And then I think Jamie
So it's
is looking up his last pick.
I
let
am
me say
looking up
this.
a pick.
I think
Yeah,
I
give
have
me.
a stat here for Jamie. Maybe someone else picked that. Maybe I have it wrong here, but 2-0 or 1-1 when picking Harris. I feel like you've been picking him more than that though. Maybe I have my number wrong here.
It should be 3 picks. I definitely did a carry pick on him earlier in the year that hit. So I think I'm 2-1 on Harris.
Maybe I didn't scroll up far
I think
enough.
you've done a
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. In fact, I think Harris, as far as weeks is concerned, this is the 5th week we've had him. You had him week 3, week 4, week 8, or week 9, week 10, something like that, or 2 in week 10.
big Najee fan.
So this is a big Najee fan right here.
Listen, if I'm going to get into it, Najee should be way better than he is. He's one of those dudes I look at and I'm like, this guy should be amazing. He's huge. And I kind of have this whole deal with Derrick Henry too, is I see them, especially in I formation, they run through the line of scrimmage and they're upright. And I'm like, both of these guys are massive. If you tilt your shoulder pads down whatsoever, you get like 3 extra yards. Now, what do I know? I'm not in the NFL, but it bothers me that to see huge dudes with speed that don't just truck stick people constantly.
Yeah. Well, Najee and Derrick Henry are similar, where like they are inefficient the whole game, but they wear down the defense. And then late third quarter, early fourth quarter, they just break off one 50-yard run, or maybe not in Najee's case, but they just wear the defense down and they break off a big one towards the end.
So I think I found another one I like. We're good. We're gonna go with it. I think I'm 1-on-1 on this guy in the season 2. Brock Bowers over 53.5 receiving yards, and that's at minus 115. I think that's low. Normally, his line was creeping up towards the 80s last couple weeks. I think he hasn't gotten it as much, but Miami's got some good corners. So Jacoby Myers should be held in check. If anything, the only person they got else that's good, Brock, and I think that line's low. So
Jamie is 2-2 right now on tight ends for the season, and 24-13 on running backs on the season. So we'll see. Can see how that goes. So Stone, you have two more picks left to close us out. So,
all right, this next one. Connor and I were trashing on this guy all of last season. He looked like a massive bust, but this year, Quentin Johnston, he's looked pretty good. He looks like the number 1 target for Herbert. Jim Harbaugh has he's put some confidence in him, and he's made him seem to actually be like a good receiver. His line's only at 41.5 reception yards at minus 115. So I'm gonna take that. The Bengals aren't really a great defense, so I like that. And then I have a lot down here, so let me
While you're looking real quickly on the Chargers, I saw someone, and I don't know if this is true or not, saying that them running the ball so much in like the first 6 to 8 weeks was all a hardball plan, and now these last couple weeks they're turning on the pass offense to throw NFL defenses off. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm starting a rumor here, but I do know they have been passing more lately.
Yeah, I normally ride McConkey more than Quentin Johnson. I just got burned so much last year. Stone already mentioned that, but yeah.
Old lad.
All right, and then this next one, it kind of ties into my Russell Wilson pick. The Ravens are also really bad against tight ends. I think I picked the Zach Ertz line against them when I sniped Connor a few weeks back. So I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth over 28.5 receiving yards at -115.
This was another line I looked at, and then I looked at Freiermuth's last couple games. And I think he's only passed this line in like 2 out of his last 4 games or something, maybe out of his last 5. So that's where I ran away from it. But
the Ravens my 7th. I don't love it because it's also my 7th pick. So
right, you're reaching the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly.
I know how it
goes. The thing about having an odd number is
you got to win 4
down.
Yeah, I'm either winning or getting an extra pick or losing a pick.
Breaking the spreadsheet.
Yeah, so I thought it was. 7 picks. I had this number for you. Stone is 3-0 when picking tight ends this year. So
love
it took the last pick to get one, but we got one.
Sounds like Jamie was just hating.
Yeah, I try and pick tight ends against bad defenses that give up to tight ends, and the Ravens are one of them. So we'll see.
Yep. So that'll close us out for the game picks. Get volume starting to get up there, but we're halfway through. And if I come back over here, this is where we've been adding a lot of equity. So we are 18-12 in this category. That's 60%, and we are up 9.7 units on picking players to score touchdowns. Right? We count these as independent wins. But then we also put the number for the parlay up there and try to keep track, see if we can each hit this every single week. So with that, let's go. We'll go Stone, Jamie, and then myself, just because Stone hit his last week and Jamie missed his Mostert, so he could go second this time.
Brutal. You might as well just put me last. It's terrible pick. That was one of the worst.
I was like, where is this guy?
This guy has been a little quiet this year, or recently. He just started off hot and then kind of slowed down a little bit. But Kenneth Walker touchdown at even money. That game's one of the highest over-unders of the week. I think he gets a touchdown. He gets a bounce back.
49ers are surprisingly vulnerable this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not surprising. For my pick, I couldn't believe this guy isn't on the board yet. I just want to double check it real quick. I don't see him. Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
And that might have been, -125. It's a little chalky, -120. You shouldn't have let me go.
Yeah, you're right. Now looking back, that was a mistake. Go ahead, Jamie.
I was just saying it was -125. So
surprisingly, he hasn't got that many touchdowns this year, but I think he bounces back this week for sure.
He was the most likely to score on the Packers for as far as odds are concerned, right? So taking that -5.5, he was my pick, and I have a backup. But I need to double check because I wrote this guy down last week, and I might regret having written it down. No, I'm going to take it. This is a guy had injuries to start the season. I picked him on Monday night last week. He got a target or 2 in the red zone, but the Rams didn't look, phenomenal. So I'm going to take Puka Nacua, and that's at +150. I think he's going to get his first touchdown this week. Put that one on the podcast, and that'll take us to +800 even on the parlay. That's right in the area of where we would hit this. So I like these picks a lot.
Yeah, I love Nacua at +150. That's pretty good odds.
Yeah, he's below Kenneth Walker, of course, and he's also below Cooper Kupp on odds. And they're playing the Patriots. I think if they have a chance, they're gonna try to get him his first touchdown. They tried at the end of the last game, but kind of overthrew the ball and then kicked that field goal. Didn't like the idea of kicking that field goal, but that's all right.
Yeah, I would have loved if they went for a touchdown there, but it's fine.
They were already so close and already used up so much time. They probably should have given it one more play. What it would cost them 3 seconds. You still would have been able to kick a field goal and do an onside kick. I don't love it when you're that close. But that's going to close us out for the week. Does anybody have any closing remarks?
Nope.
Just looking to get back on the horse. My fall from
Mhm.
grace hasn't been great. So yeah.
I think we got a lot of picks. I think we're, Jamie mentioned it. We have a lot of similar picks. So I think we're either going to crush it this week or we're going to come back next week with paper bags over our heads. Something one or the other.
No. Don't put that bad juju on me, Ricky Bobby.
It's either going to be real good or real bad is what it feels like. We're all right in the same place. But I appreciate everyone for their time and for joining us, and we'll see everybody next week.